The other feature that you need to pay attention to here is this new button over here that says Search Area. And this is a feature that allows us to limit the searches that we conduct to a particular part of the repertory. Now, for those of you who were radar users and remember the comparative extraction window, you remember that there was such a feature in that part of the program where you could essentially conduct an extraction for a particular remedy to find all of the rubrics that remedy is found in a particular repertory. But when you do that, you could also do that extraction for particular sections of the repertory. So, for example, you might only want to do that extraction for the mind symptoms, or maybe even a subsection of the mind chapter, like just the delusions or just the fears, or a combination of different ones, like delusions and maybe diarrhea symptoms. So it would really be up to the user to decide how they would like to do their extraction. So let me show you how you would limit your search area right now. Let's imagine that we want to do this for, let's say, the delusion symptoms and the, let's say, some diarrhea symptoms. Okay, so I'm going to start to do my search because I have to go to the part of the repertory that I want to limit the search area to. So I'm going to go to, let's say, mind delusion. So I'm going to type in the letter M on my keyboard. And when I type the letter M, you'll see that that brings up this little select chapter window or find symptom window where all of the chapters that start with the letter M are represented. Now I want mind, so I'm going to type add the letter I, and now you see I've only got the mind chapter. That's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on my keyboard. Now I'm in the mind chapter, and I've got all of the primary rubrics of the mind chapter. I want delusions. So I'm going to type in D-E-L-U. There's delusions. I hit enter. Delusions goes to the top. And I hit enter one more time. And now I find myself in the synthesis repertory at the rubric mind delusion. And I'm going to just simply take my mouse, click on the word delusions over here. And while clicking, I'm going to hold my mouse button down and I'm going to drag it over to this little button here that says search area. I'm going to put the pointer in the center and I'm going to let go. And I'm going to do pull in one more section. I said I wanted the diarrhea section. So I'm going to type the letter R on my keyboard. You can see there's two chapters in the synthesis repertory that start with the letter R, rectum and respiration. So I want rectum. There's rectum. I hit enter. And then I want diarrhea, D-I-A-R. There's diarrhea. I hit enter and enter one more time. And now I find myself in the synthesis repertory at the diarrhea rubric in the rectum chapter. And again, I'm going to take my mouse. I'm going to click on the word diarrhea. I'm going to hold my mouse button down. And while I'm holding my mouse button down, I'm going to drag the pointer over to this little button that says search area, put the pointer in the center, and let go. And now I can go ahead and click on this button called search area. And you'll see that this opens up the search area window. You'll see it says at the very top in the upper left-hand corner, specify the search area. And that below that it says you can add rubrics to this list with drag and drop on this icon in the vertical toolbar. Actually, it's the horizontal toolbar. We'll have to change that. And you can see underneath here, under the Synthesis Treasure Edition 2009, you've got mind delusions and rectum diarrhea. We could actually add different sections from different repertories. I could go to a different repertory. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to close this window now. And I'll go ahead back to my repertories on the left-hand side. And I'll click on the Therapeutic Pocketbook over here on the left to open up that repertory. And let's say that I want, in addition to what I've done there, I also want the Mind and Sensorium section. Okay, so I'll click on Mind and Sensorium here, and I'll drag that up to the search area, let go, click, and now you can see I've got Therapeutic Pocketbook, Mind and Sensorium, and Synthesis Treasure Edition, Mind Delusions, and Rectum Diarrhea. So I can pull in different sections from different repertories, and actually even different materia medicas as well. And those can be areas that I've limited my search to. You'll also notice that I can save down here various searches. So if I click on this little save button here, you can see that I've already got one. I've actually got two that I've already saved. One's called Fear Delusions. This is actually a search area that is the fear section of the mind chapter and the delusion section of the mind chapter. So I don't have to redo these all the time. If I want to pull one up, they're always available to me. And I've also got one called GI problems, which is actually a combination of different sections from various chapters in the synthesis repertory that specifically relates to digestive disturbances. And so I can very quickly open these up and conduct a particular search. Let me go ahead and save this one. I'll call it, for example, we'll call it delusions and then diarrhea. Okay. And I'll click on save. And now if I click on the open button here, you'll see that I've added a third one, delusions, diarrhea, fear delusions, GI problems. And again, I can keep adding these. If I want to open any particular one, I simply click on the open button here, and let's say I want to switch it to fear delusions. I just double click on fear delusions, and now I've got the fear delusion one loaded in. So I can save as many of these as I want, and I can change them very quickly just from this particular window, opening different search areas that I've created. You'll see how this comes into play when we actually start to conduct searches, because again, I can conduct a search and limit it to a particular section of the repertory or multiple sections of the repertory. I can also click on a line here, like this mind delusions line, and I can remove a selected line. So, you know, you may, in the process of trying to create these, say, oh, you know what, maybe I don't want to add that particular section of this particular repertory to my search area limitation. You could click on lines and then simply click on remove the selected line, and it will remove it. We won't do that now. We'll leave this the way it is, mind fear and mind delusions. And let's go ahead now and we'll go and start looking at some searches. By the way, when you're in any particular repertory, if you right-click on a remedy, let's say I right-click on arsenicum here, and I go to the very top level that says search for this remedy in, you'll see that it says all documents, all open documents, all repertories, all open repertories, certain types of repertories, all materia medica, all open materia medica, all materia medicas of a certain type. That would be, you know, maybe just keynote materia medicas or comparative materia medicas, maybe just provings, journals. You can pull out certain types of information, or the current search area. And that would be the search area that we have currently selected that is now comprised of fear and delusion. But from here, I can also pull up another search area. If I click over here on another search area, I now go back to this window, and I can click on open, and I could switch it to, for example, delusions, diarrhea, double click, and now I'm using that particular search area. So again, I actually went ahead and conducted the search there, and you can see that I've now extracted for the remedy arsenicum all of the certain, actually I don't know which one I did. I clicked on something. Well, let's go back. I'll click on arsenicum here. I'll go to search for this remedy in, okay, and let's go to the current search area, okay. I think I did all materia medica. Let's do the current search area, and I'll click on the current search area, and you'll see it'll do an extraction. And you see it's done an extraction for the remedy arsenicum, but what's pulled up for arsenicum are just the delusion symptoms. And if I scroll down here, after you see the delusions of arsenicum, you'll see the diarrhea symptoms of arsenicum. So this is very nice. You can create as many different search areas as you want, different groupings from the repertory, or even multiple repertories, or even sections from the materia medica. These are available to you whenever you want. When you right-click on a remedy, either from the repertory, you can also access these remedies from the table of contents of remedies. So I could right-click, for example, on AB's Nigra over here and go search for this remedy. And I could go down to search for this remedy in the current search area, and you'll see that it will now pull up an extraction. Oh, okay, there's no remedies in there because it's a very small remedy. Let's do a different one. Go back to remedies, and let's find, for example, we'll type in the remedy over here. Let's do Helleborus, for example, H-E-L-L. And again, we right-click here, search for this remedy in, and then we go down to the current search area, and we conduct our extraction. And you can see that it pulled up now all of the delusions of Helleborus, or all of the rubrics that have Helleborus in the delusion rubrics, and then all of the diarrhea rubrics that contain Helleborus. So again, just to repeat, I can do this from the repertory by right-clicking, or I can do this by right-clicking on any remedy in the remedy table of contents. I can also do this by right-clicking on a remedy in my analysis window. So if I've got an analysis, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an analysis. So I'm going to do Control-R, and I'll open up a particular repertorization here. Okay, and here I've got a repertorization. And now I want to, let's say, look at silica. I want to read about the delusion and diarrhea symptoms of silica. I could right-click on silica, go to search for this remedy in, go down to the current search area, click, and then it will conduct my search, and now I can see the delusion and the diarrhea symptoms of silica. Or I could have right-clicked and selected another search area to limit the extraction of silica to. So very nice feature, works really well. Also, you'll notice that when you're searching, when you've got a certain mix created as well, that you can do the same thing. For example, I could click on, let's say, Burrita carbonica here, and I could go to search for this remedy in, and now I can go down to it says the current document mix or another document mix. So I could say, you know, the current document mix is the ones that I checked off, or another document mix. Let's do another document mix. So let's say I want to do it for Kim classical mix. Okay, so I'll double click on that, and now I'm going to do a search specifically for, let's do it again, synthesis, right click on Burrita carbonica and go down to search for this remedy, and we'll do in the current document mix, and it will conduct my search for me. And you'll see that it pulled up the particular document mix that I had, which had certain books in it. And it just pulled up Burrita carbonica in those particular books. And I had made one, actually, you can see here, that had Herring and Lippe and Hahnemann in it. And it only searched in those particular books. Again, the document mixes would be a combination of different books. The search area would be specific sections within a particular repertory or within a particular materia medica.